got breaking news out of Paris where USA men's basketball is headed to the gold medal game for the 5th straight Olympics after taking down Serbia. The United States, they trailed after the first, the second, and the third quarter before storming back to win the game. Team USA will play Victor Wembanyama and host country France.
Going into the Olympic Games, many were calling this iteration of Team USA as the greatest basketball team ever assembled. And while there were some disputes about this during the exhibition games and even in group play, now we actually have an answer whether or not this is the greatest team ever assembled. But before we get to the content, we are almost at 1 million subscribers. Make sure you check to see if you're subscribed. And now that we got all of that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? This iteration of Team USA's Olympic basketball team wasn't without controversy. The assembly of this roster on paper looked like one of the greatest teams of all time. Bam Adebayo, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, and Kawhi Leonard. And when Kawhi Leonard was told to sit out of these Olympic Games, he was replaced by Derek White. There was some controversy in regards to Derek White getting the nod over Jaylen Brown, but alas, the decision was made. Derek White was brought in to bring in a little bit more defense and shooting, and Team USA decided to continue on. Their coaching staff featured multiple legends like Steve Kerr, Mark Few, Tyronn Lue, and Eric Spoelstra. When you consider this roster and how it's constructed, there's no question about it. This team was expected to take home the gold, but this team looked far from dominant to start the Olympic Games. The first cause for concern was when Team USA was only able to defeat South Sudan by 1 point. A lot of people were joking about the fact that Luol Deng subsidized all of South Sudan's basketball efforts, so a lot of people were making the joke that one Laker contract that he received in 2016 is the sole reason why basketball is alive in South Sudan, which clearly isn't the truth. Luol Deng is on the record for being an incredible investor, but there was a lot of cause for concern in this particular game, and there were 3 prevailing storylines in this game. One was Steve Kerr's lineups and adjustments, another was how inefficient Steph Curry was playing, and the other was how horribly Joel Embiid was playing. And while this wasn't enough for them to lose a showcase game, it was definitely something that we kept an eye on moving forward. So when the United States took on Germany, there was even more cause for concern, because this time Steph Curry got absolutely cooked by Dennis Schroeder of all players, and Team USA was only able to defeat Germany by 6 points. But once group play actually began, Team USA actually brought their A game, absolutely decimating Serbia in their first official game. Joel Embiid played in significantly less minutes in this game, but Bam Adebayo was very effective at least slowing down Nikola Jokic. Jokic went 1 of 6 from 3 and still had 20 points. Considering that he's Nikola Jokic, that could have been significantly worse. He also didn't get much help from his teammates, so Team USA was able to defeat Serbia by 26 points. They then made quick work of South Sudan, Puerto Rico, and Brazil. And there wasn't that much concern as Team USA did get back Kevin Durant. There were some storylines about why Joel Embiid was so inconsistent, why Steph Curry wasn't as big of a factor, why Tyrese Halliburton and Jason Tatum didn't get that much playing time. But for the most part, no one was upset because, well, Team USA played relatively well until they went up against Serbia a second time. So how would Team USA perform the second time around when they faced off against Serbia? Well, a lot of Team USA's weaknesses came out in this game. One of their biggest weaknesses is this team cannot defend the perimeter for anything, and Serbia exposed that earlier on in this game, catching fire from beyond the arc and eventually getting out to an 8-point lead to start the game. That lead eventually became 10 points in the second quarter, but Team USA made sure they did whatever they could to stay in the fight, including an absolutely electric slam by Joel Embiid after pump faking Nikola Jokic, Jokic, but that wouldn't be enough to keep Team USA in the game. Through it all, a lot of fans were very upset at Steve Kerr because a lot of the things that Steve Kerr was doing, once again, just didn't make sense. There are points where he benched Steph Curry, LeBron James, and Joel Embiid when they were the only ones doing anything for Team USA. Anthony Edwards had no business playing more minutes than Jason Tatum in this game either, and I understand that I praised Anthony Davis and Bam Adebayo before, but in this particular game, the matchup didn't really make a lot of sense. They were getting killed out there. So it was only poetic and only right that Team USA finally gave us something that we were absolutely lacking, and that was the Steph Curry and Joel Embiid game. The two individuals that have been underperforming for Team USA the most throughout the summer stepped up in the biggest way possible. Steph Curry went off for 36 points, 1 point away from tying Carmelo Anthony's record for points scored in an Olympic competition. This performance included 9 of 14 from 3, 12 of 19 from the field, and 36 points in general. But the interesting part about this is, throughout the past couple of years, NBA fans have mercilessly memed Joel Embiid, saying that he played with no heart, and when times were the toughest, he quit on his team the most. So coming into this game, considering the fact that Joel Embiid has been performing fairly pedestrian and inconsistently throughout the entire Olympics, I was expecting the same thing, getting matched up against the defending NBA MVP, an individual that you stole the MVP from. I was expecting, once again, for Joel Embiid to shrink. But the fact of the matter is, if Joel Embiid wasn't in this game, if Joel Embiid wasn't defending Nikola Jokic, there's no question about it, Team USA would have lost by 20 points. His presence was felt on both sides of the court. He was extremely efficient on the offensive end, going for 8 of 11 from the field, sinking 2 of 3 of his 3-pointers, and holding Nikola Jokic to 7 of 17 from the field and 0 of 6 from 3. Now, Jokic made his mark felt. He had 11 assists as well, and Bogdan Bogdanovic was sensational for Serbia, but ultimately this came down to the fourth quarter, where Team USA mounted an electric comeback. It started with a LeBron James jumper, following by Anthony Davis stealing the ball from Jokic, Steph Curry continuing the run, followed by the Phoenix Suns duo of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker making threes, before Joel Embiid scored the next 5 points. LeBron James would eventually tie the game at 84, and then he and Steph Curry would take over from then on. Team USA would end up winning the game 95-91 in one of the most electric finishes we've seen in Olympic basketball history. There's still a lot of questions about this team. They're certainly not the greatest basketball team ever assembled, but at the same time, you have to understand, I don't think we've ever seen a case in the Olympics where basketball was this competitive. You don't go into the Olympics and face off against the NBA MVP who's representing a different team. The United States used to be the breeding ground for basketball, and now, since basketball has been so successful internationally, the Olympics have been significantly more competitive, which I'm all for because we get instant classics like this. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about all this, man? I was personally jumping out of my seat as I was watching this, and aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.